Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of Meta Tuesdays here in Arena Underground. This week we are playing Jeskai Fires, or Cavaliers on Fire as I like to call it, because this deck has 4 copies of Cavalier of Flame, 4 copies of Cavalier of Gales, and Fires of Invention. Now, I think this deck has been played for a couple of weeks now. Different versions of it have been played, but I think this version is actually the best version of the deck, specifically for best of 1 games. And I'll be fairly quick about the deck tech here. Basically, this deck has a couple of key cards that the older versions of it did not. This deck has 2 copies of Shimmer of Possibility. This is the best turn 2 drop that you can play. Basically, the older versions of the deck were playing Bone Crusher Giant. Bone Crusher Giant is a great card. The adventure side allows you to play something on curve and then have a 4/3 body on turn 3 if you want to have it. So, but I don't think this is what this deck needed. This deck really needs to play on curve. If you're able to do something on turn 1, do something on turn 2, do something on turn 3, you really get to play the deck to the fullest, and usually you win the game if you get to play on curve. So Shimmer of Possibility allows you to, on turn 2, just grab what you need for the next 2 turns. Either you need a Deafening Clarion or a Solar Blaze to get rid of your opponent's aggro creatures, or you're gonna grab a Teferi, a Mystical Dispute, or a Drawn from Dreams to be able to really set things up for the win. Of course, if you don't have a Fires of Invention in hand, you want to grab that as well, because it's really what makes the deck work properly. But basically, that's it. I mean, we added 2 copies of Solar Blaze alongside the 4 copies of the Deafening Clarion. I think that's also a change to the deck that has really given it the opportunity to be better in best of 1, because we used to play the 5 mana Realm Cloak Giant or the Time Wipe as Wrath, but to play a turn 5 Wrath, it might be a little too late against decks like Mono Red or even Golgari Adventures. These decks just swarm the battlefield with creatures, either for a combo or for just aggro attacks, and you want to be able to, on turn 3 get rid of these creatures, or even turn 4, or maybe both, because sometimes your opponent plays 1-2 creatures and just attack with that in the first few turns, get a chunk of life out of you. You definitely Clarion those, but you still want to have a backup copy that you can play on the early game. So Solar Blaze is really nice here. Then after that, we have 2 copies of Aether Gust. Again, this is especially against the Oko decks, the Gruul decks as well, anything that's playing green or blue. And then we have our win conditions, which are Cavalier of Gales and Cavaliers of Flame, alongside Kenrith, which as well is a great option, both against control decks and aggro decks. So we're playing 28 lands. The older versions have 29 lands, so this version cut the 1 land off. It's not an essential change. You really need to have all your lands in order to be able to get your Jeskai cards played. So yeah, that's basically the deck. We have a quick sideboard here for you. Another Aether Gust against the Oko decks, a Lava Coil against Gruul, Dovin's Veto, Sorcerer's Spyglass, Mystical Disputes, again, Control, and also Planeswalker's heavy decks. We also have Legion Warbus, specifically against other fire decks and control matchups. We have 2 copies of Realm Cloak Giant. And a quick reminder, guys, just please make sure to click the like button and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. That's a way to support the channel for free, and we really appreciate it. I mean, this allows us to keep uploading new content for you every week. All right, with that said, let's go to the games. All right, guys, we're playing Jeskai Fires. This is version 2 of this deck. All right. We do need a white source to make this hand work. Aether Gust could be fine. Don't think this is an ideal hand. We do get a scry, so we'll try it. Let's keep it. Go first, so we'll go for the scry. We can't keep the Clarion because we need lands. We need a white source in order to do anything, so we'll send that to the bottom. Alright. Opponent's playing black. Is it Adventures or is it Cat? Okay. Alright, well. Red or green, either of us is not going to do anything in this hand, so we'll play a tap land, pass the turn. We'll see the cat come down, probably. Most likely. Alright, is a Knight of the Ebon Legion, sure. Alright, we do get a land, not the land that we wanted, but it is a land. Our opponent is a little bit constrained as well, so maybe we could take advantage of that. Alright. That's very interesting. Opponent's playing Kaya's Ghost form. We still don't get a land, but at least this is something that it's playable. So we're looking for an untapped source we can draw from Dreams. Pretty much that's what we're looking for here. If it's a white source, we could potentially play Teferi. Pretty much counter anything our opponent would have played there. Can't really afford to not take action when we're... Okay, well, that's something. That is something. Alright, so we'll take our 2 white sources here. Pass the turn, at least we can start doing something next turn. Alright, our opponent is drawing their lands, so that's good. They have another priest. That is fine for the time being. Alright, so what do we want to do here? They can kill the Cavalier with a Murderous Rider at this point. But I think drawing a card with Teferi might be the next best thing here. Let's do that. Let's send the priest.
Stand by and watch.
Well, I think the knight might be the worst one here. If they want to attack Teferi and use their priest there, that's fine. So maybe we shouldn't have tap or all our red mana there, but I mean, having shock for next turn is probably okay as well. We don't need to necessarily kill the priest here. A tap priest is a priest that's not doing much, so it's fine. Okay. Alright, so we can, yep, let go of Ether Gust, which is not doing anything in our hand at the moment. So we can do 2 things here, although we can do 1. That's a pretty good thing to do as well. Yep, I think we'll do this. So our opponent can sack something to get a food. I'm not sure. I mean, that should be what they would want to do. Not really great anyway, but at least they get something out of the deal there. We're gonna sack this right now. So our opponent probably doesn't have
Let's slow this down.
Alright, that's fine. Something we can discard to another Yarok. Okay, sure.
I've got time.
Cavalier Gales, give them. Alright, so. Sure, that is fine. They draw a card here, probably looking for a land. Alright, they get a Yarok on top of the library, so at least we know what they're going to draw next turn. So this is probably looking like a Murderer's Rider. Sure. We do not need these lands. Alright, here we see the cat. Sure. Alright, we'll keep that on the top. That looks like a pretty good thing to do. So if we play Fires, we can then play Cavalier of Night. I think this route is safer here. We get to send this and this. Sure. Alright, that is a fine drop for our opponent. Nothing necessarily crazy here. Sure. All right, we'll keep the shimmer, I think. That's fine. All right, so what do we want to do here? We can play the two and put them up to speed. So now, okay. Alright, that's pretty good. Alright, we are going to challenge our opponent here. So our opponent will be able to start blocking with Yarok. It's not necessarily great. We'll keep the land to discard it to Yarok. Let's see how they deal with these Cavalier Flame. We're gonna have 3 of them, so yeah, they'll be able to protect themselves from one of them. Okay. It's a Yarok, sure. Also gonna put a stop on our upkeep if possible. All right. Our opponent is interesting enough attacking. Okay. So we are looking for something to get rid of all these creatures, I guess. We do not need another Fires here. Okay, we're gonna draw now. Alright. Kenrith, it's actually really good here. So, probably want to play our Kenrith. It's possible that was a bad decision there on our part, but we'll see what happens. I think ideally we would have Shimmer first to see if we get a definite Clarion. Okay, it's fine. So the good news is we are going to gain 5 life here from Kenrith. And that is fine, opponent. And then we are going to Shimmer. So what do we want? I think Cavalier might be the way to go. So we'll end the turn here. We'll gain some life when our opponent tries to kill our Kenrith with a Murderer's Rider. Can also potentially try to kill our opponent with the Cavaliers. Alright, that's a Murderous Rider. That's fine. We'll gain 5 life here. Sure. Okay, it's a Knight of the Evil Legion. That's fine. Okay, so we are going to scry now. Alright, land to the bottom, Cavalier to the bottom. Maybe we'll keep the Cavalier here. Okay, so this is an unblockable creature for our opponent, which they have to decide on what to do. Basically, we're looking for a definite Clarion to gain life while we kill all of our opponent's creatures. If we don't get that, we might just go for the kill with the Cavalier Flame effect. Alright, and we did get the definite Clarion, so we'll send the lands to the bottom here. We'll choose both effects. And our opponent should concede here. I don't believe there's any way for them to win after we gain potentially 20 life out of this attack while killing their creatures and putting them in a very precarious situation. Alright, so our opponent is pretty much dead. So that should have been a concede there, but I guess they're sticking to see how our deck works. Good game, opponent. I think we did had a few missteps there, but still worked. Alright guys, we're playing Jeskai Fires. This is the newer version that I'm playing. And this hand is not precisely great, but I think it's a keep because we sort of have a curve. Is if we draw a red source, we should be good. And we do play first, so do have a couple of chances to get that red source in time. Alright, we're playing against Is It or another Jeskai deck. We'll see. We'll see very soon here. Yep, we're gonna shimmer here. We're gonna get our... I think it's crucial that we get our mountain. We don't really know what we're playing against, and even if we get the invention, we don't know if we're gonna be able to play it on time. We definitely know we're not playing against mono red, so Alright, we'll keep the invention. We hope that we'll get to draw a red source soon. Alright, so this is maybe not, is it? Something else, maybe elementals. Plates of fairy here. Try to draw our red source. Okay, Fable Passage will do the trick. And if we get to keep the fairy alive, that would be great. That would be amazing as well. Well, that's an Oko. That's fine. Still get to keep the fairy alive.
Don't worry, I got this.
For the time being, of course. So, Fires of Invention. Drawn from Dreams. So, Cavalier looks pretty interesting here, and we do need another land. Yeah, I think Cavalier is what we need. We need to get rid of Oko, and that's probably the best way to do it. So if our opponent can get 2 creatures on the battlefield, but we also have a way to get rid of those creatures. So that could potentially work. Alright, that's a land. And that's their own Fires of Invention. Alright. And that's Ra. Sure. So the question is, are they going to get rid of the fairy? Or not? They are, okay. So that's fine. That is fine. So we can do 2 things here. Alright, we can do this. I believe we can do this. We are going to Canrith for 0. We are doing to Cavalier of Flame for 0. We will discard a couple of things. Submit. Sure. Give our creatures haste +1. Get rid of Oko. Get rid of Ra. Be happy that we just got rid of them. And I'm not sure what sort of wrath our opponent could have to get rid of our creatures at the moment. So we'll just go on. Okay. I mean, they could have anything pretty much, because Fires of Invention lets them play whatever. Alright, so Kaya's Wrath, sure. Still have another Cavalier of Flame, so that's fine. Any ooze, okay. Sure. Alright, that's great. So we get to scry first. We'll keep the Drawn from Dreams. So we can kill these oozes. Play Cavalier Flames. We forgot to give it haste. So we will pass the turn here and hope that our opponent does not have another Wrath and forgets our misplay there. Alright, Hellkite is fine. Sure. Let's see what else. So this means our opponent does not have a Wrath. They have another Row. That is fine. scry to the bottom. Going to pass the turn here. Alright, so first of all, we're going to draw on from Dreams. Alright, this looks good. Drawn from Dreams into Teferi. Sure. So we can give them their Skargan back.
This isn't a fight you can win.
Kill Sarkin. Kill Rao. So they can ping Teferi, which is fine with us. We're not looking to alright, they pinged us, they pinged both. Alright, that's a second roll down. So, alright, that's a Kaya's Wrath, sure. Okay. Scry first. Castle Vantress. We can't really play Castle Vantress right now because we already played a land, so probably not ideal. Alright, so let's see. If we already played something this turn, so I think Cavalier Gales is definitely something that we want to play. And potentially we keep the Aether Gust to send something. Alright. That's fine. Let's do that. Play the Cavalier for 0. Do some scrying. Alright, so send the lance there, sure. Okay, our opponent's gonna start pinging us. We're gonna scry to the bottom. Alright, great. Alright, so I think we scry again here. And play our Cavalier Flames. Alright, opponent, do you have anything for this? Alright, good game. Alright guys, we're playing Jeskai Fires. And this hand is interesting. I like having the Deafening Clarion against aggro decks. Other than that, we don't have much to do until turn 5. But I think this is a keep. We like having 4 4 lands is a really good number of lands for us to have. So we'll try it. Would have been nice to have a scry land here, but we did not get that in our opening hand. Alright, opponent is Fable Passage in here. Alright, Fires of Invention is a good draw there. Since we're on the play, we might be able to get Fires of Invention on the battlefield without our opponent being able to counter it. And that might be key. Although they are playing... Okay. This might be Simic Ramp. So maybe there is a reason for us to do Deafening Clarion here. Well, they should be able to play Oko here anyway, so... Maybe we'll keep the Clarion. There's also the possibility our opponent does not have Oko and have... Alright, they have something else. They're ramping up, yep, okay. We do get to do a couple of things, including Fires of Invention. Alright, we will make 3 damage to these creatures. Stop our opponent from ramping just a bit. And Cavalier Gales should be pretty good. Okay, interesting. So they're trying to win with this. Alright. That is pretty interesting. So I think we're gonna Cavalier first. Alright. It's not bad. Red or green? Okay. Send this and Solar Blaze. Do it like that. We can play our Cavalier Flames now. That's a lot of damage coming our opponent's way, so they really need to have something here. Alright, possibly there's a Wrath coming this way, but we're not really afraid of that. We're not really afraid of Teferi either. Sure, that's fine, opponent. Pretty sure they're dead. Good game, opponent. Good game. Okay, guys, we're playing Jeskai Fires. I usually don't like keeping hands like this. It's a bit slow. But we do have the Scry to try and get an untapped land. We do have the Deafening Clarion, which is great against aggro, right? So we're gonna try this hand. The curve is just pretty great. If we get our land drops, we have an amazing curve. I don't think shimmer is what we're looking for here. So we're gonna bottom that. Pass the turn. Alright. This could be literally anything. Alright, so we're gonna have to play our Fable Passage here. Not ideal, but... Alright, so it seems like we're playing possibly Simic Flash. Right, I think we're gonna go for the shimmer here. Don't know if our opponent wants to block this. They could counter shimmer a possibility. Let's see. I think we rather them counter something like this than... Alright, they did not. So we're just going to take a land here, which is something we desperately need. Pass the turn. Alright, we're definitely playing against Simic Flash, sure. So our hand is just a tiny bit slow against Simic Flash. But we're going to do our best here, right? So this basically means they can counter everything we play from here on out. We're going to try to ferry. They're going to have to counter to ferry. Maybe. I wonder if this is something worth they countering. Alright, let's play the Fires. I think them countering Fires of Invention. Alright. So now we have options. I think now we just definite Clarion. We need to play this for 0. That makes so much more sense. Alright, pass the turn here. Okay. So we're going to do a couple of things. Our opponent needs to counter to Fairy. So we're going to make them counter something else. Alright. Okay, it's just a cutthroat, so that's fine. Seems like our opponent did not draw the counter hand. Very interesting. So we need a land. Desperately need a land. And then Shimmer of Possibility should be pretty good as well. Alright, I'm going to play the land. Play Teferi. And this might be game. Don't know how this deck wins against Teferi. They're passing. Maybe our opponent does not realize what's going on with Teferi on the battlefield. It's possible.
That's more like it.
Alright, good game, Simic Flash. Alright guys, we're playing Jeskai Fires in best of 1 standard. I think this is a pretty good hand, most likely against some sort of aggro deck. So having the 2 Wrath here and Teferi are not a bad thing. We're going to keep this. I like having the 4 lands. 4 land is a pretty great amount of lands for this deck. We definitely will keep the Drawn from Dreams. It's a very important card in any match. Alright, we're going up against Mono Red, the usual, right? Alright, so our opponent knows we probably have some sort of wrath in hand. They shall not play any creatures this turn. Good thing is we have 2 wrath in hand. So, first of all, we will shock ourselves this turn to play Teferi. Teferi is gonna die next turn to whatever they play, but at least we kind of make a tempo play here. And we draw into a very amazing card here, another copy of Deafening Clarion. This is great. I mean, I don't know how mono red is gonna beat this hand. So I'm pretty comfortable at the moment. Do not have to think much about what's coming up next. We're going to get... Doesn't really matter what we get here, but just in case, we're going to get a red source. We're going to play our Fires of Invention. And we're going to Drawn from Dreams. Why? Because we don't think our opponent could take 60 life from us this turn, so we're just gonna go with the nice play that's gonna get us the lands that we need for next turn. Alright, opponent, you do your thing. Yeah, Deafening Clarion really, because we can play Cavalier Flames, kill whatever they have, plus gain life. Oh yeah, this is totally fine, opponent. Totally fine. Alright, so let's think about this. If we play the Cavalier Flame and play the Deafening Clarion, we still don't get rid of Torbrand. So maybe this turn we'll just do a couple of things. One is getting rid of Torbrand. With Solar Blaze. Alright. And this assures that we can Cavalier Flame plus Deafening Clarion this coming turn. Opponent probably has some burn spells in hand. It's going to try to burn our face. Okay. Sure.
Stand by and watch. I have a plan.
Alright, that's great. Now we will... I think we want to play Cavalier Flames. I think we just play another Fires of Invention and we pass the turn. We're gonna scry on our next turn. Alright, sure opponent. You can kill Teferi, that's totally fine. Alright, Spitfire's gonna die to Deafening Clarion, so that's really good for us. Sure. Alright, we're gonna scry too. We do not need another Castle Vantress, but Cavalier of Gales could be pretty good. So we'll keep that. And then we're gonna scry again on our upkeep. Teferi could be key here. Yeah, this is fine, I guess. We'll keep him. So I think what I want to do, go to our main phase. Going to play the Cavalier of Gales. Going to do some scrying here. We do not need the Aether Gusts. Sure, that's fine. We'll choose both. Alright. So, yeah, we forgot. I kind of forgot our Cavalier of Gales does not have haste. But not really that it matters. We're going to end this momentarily. Okay. Alright, so this should be game. Alright, our opponent's really doing their best here. Good game. Good game, Mono Red. Good try. Good try. That was all for today. Please make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and click the bell icon if you want to get notified whenever we upload new videos. Have a good one.